You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Exploring the multiverse of pop culture.
This is Podcasserole.
An Adam and JP show.
It's the Tuesday Podcasserole. Yay!
Hopefully a little more uplifting than our Friday show.
I don't think the Friday show was that depressing.
I'm still kind of depressed from it. I need some uppers.
I mean, we talked about the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack.
That's true.
And
it had like a sad beginning and end, though. It was like a sad sandwich with like sad bread.
Well, the Go 4 was just educational. It wasn't sad. It was bookended with sadness.
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
Today's show brought to you by the ESO Amazon store, available at esopodcast.com. You go there, do your Amazon shopping through the store. Do you know how this works?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Have we not talked about this?
I'm pretty sure people should know now.
You spend your money there. A little bit goes back to help the Earth Station 1 broadcast network, which, by the way, I am part of the latest episode.
That's true.
Of ESO. Go to the ESO podcast. It's their big summer movie episode, and I was part of the panel discussing the big summer movie.
It's a long episode. You're part of it.
It was like 3 hours Monday night. I was like, hey, I told my wife, I was like, yeah, I got to record this for ESO. Yeah, it'd be about 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, she's gone to bed. She gets up. She goes to work. We're still recording.
Comes back home from work. You're still there. You're like, and then in the middle of May.
Well, we do get, when you listen to the episode, we get to some movies that like everybody wants to talk about for 20 minutes. Like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah, that could be its own show.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
But that was fun, and I appreciate the guys that invited me, Mike Faber, Mike Gordon, to be part of their cavalcade of fun that they call the summer movie episode.
Yeah.
2016 summer movie. 2017.
Yeah, wow.
I'm still stuck in 2016.
I'm stuck in 2012, I think.
Well, I said 2016 summer movie special a lot.
Oh,
in
we
2016.
did. Yeah. You heard it and said it many times last year.
So we have, I'm going to let you play a director here. I'm going to tell you your choices.
Okay.
You tell me what you want to do.
Just choose an adventure. All adventures will be chosen, but which order do you choose them in first?
Exactly. And you only get to choose the first one. I want to choose the rest. We've got a little bit of NWO news.
Yeah.
With some movie conspiracy and one of our favorite truthers.
Right.
On Twitter.
Yeah. Mr. Jose Canseco. He's back.
Twitter truthers. We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do the SOB OTW.
Yeah.
We've got a question. Or we can promote Collection Connection.
Let's do Collection Connection first.
You want to do that?
Yeah, it's always a fun way to start it off.
Okay, we have a sister show called Collection Connection.
Yeah, you should know by now. If you don't listen to that yet, check it out. Collection Connection.
That you are on the most current episode.
Yeah.
And kind of set up what you guys were talking about.
We talked about just the idea of madballs, the repopulation in the world of madballs, and kind of the origin of the gross-out toys of the 80s and 90s, and the evolution of the gross-out toy from the 80s to now.
Just it's the evolution.
Yeah.
It's the evolution of mystery.
It's a mystery. Spaghetti and Madballs, I believe it's called.
At one point, you guys talk about just being gross, basically.
Yeah. I know where this is going, yeah.
You're just gross.
Yeah.
You're disgusting people.
Well, for the record, I had no gross story myself.
Okay, Josh.
On this episode.
Okay, Josh.
I did speak of devouring gas station hot dogs last week's episode, but this week, not so much.
And then you burped and blew it in my face right before we started.
I was just speaking. It came out.
Guess what I had? Josh is talking about gummy bears?
Gummy trolls. You never had gummy trolls in school?
No. Kind of give us a backstory on gummy trolls.
Like the classic gummy fruit snack, like a gummy snack. You can go to the aisle at Kroger or any marketplace and have, Super Mario Brothers or dinosaurs, but a gummy fruit snack treat. But the ones we had in our school system back then was a pack you'd buy from the school line, and they're gummy trolls, and the gummy body itself could have been like a blue raspberry, and the gummy's hair was a different color, like a cherry. It's like a blue body, red hair, vice versa, yellow, green. You've seen like the gummy worms with two different colors. Same idea, but a gummy troll with different colored hair. And Josh, would daily, much like I would myself, in the lunch line, get a pack of gummy trolls.
And he would rub his shoes with them.
Yeah, he would try to gross people out. He was that guy in high school, he said. He would,
Which really makes me question, should he be hosting a show that my name is somewhat attached to?
Yeah, to gross people out. And I've done stuff like that. I would I did gross out stuff. Not so much. Mine were more trickery and illusions. I was like a gross out magician. But whenever class would start, I'd walk in with a half can of soda, like a Coke, stick it in the trash can, like on top of the trash can, right? And people would see me do it. So we'd have class. As class walked out, to impress the girls behind me, I would grab the can out of the trash can and drink it. And they're like, ew. I'm like, yeah, I'm gross.
Adam,
yeah.
Did that once ever impress a girl?
No. I was a virgin for a long time. Is that a problem?
I know, that's fine. That's nothing on the level of what Josh talks about he did on the most recent Collection Connection.
I mean, I would buy them every day, and they would be a part of my lunch, pretty much being the dessert, or supposed to be the dessert, of course.
Same here. That's really funny. Yeah.
Almost every day, because I was a fruit fan, but I was also, it was part of kind of the gross, but at the same time, it was gummies. I dug it. So one day, always trying to mess with my friends or the girls that were at the table or whatever, I might rub it on my shoe and then eat it, or something like that. Like I would do something like, I might, smear it all over the table, then, pick it up and eat it. I was trying to gross out anybody that would give me the attention to look at me. Well, there was one day where I had walked around for a good part of the day and did not realize I had one stuck to my shoe.
Wow.
So when it came time for lunch, I was doing the whole gross out thing, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I told everybody, I looked down and I pulled it off, and man, it was decrepit looking. It looked absolutely disgusting. And I'm looking at everybody's face, and of course somebody says, "Oh, don't eat it, don't eat it." And of course, if you say don't eat it, and I have in my mind that I want to make you, I want to gross you out. Well, clearly I'm going to eat it. And man, I ate that thing. People were filing away from the table, gagging. I was grinning like a possum.
How did it taste? I'm going to ask, how did it taste?
Dude, here's the deal. I think that those things were so full of sugar that you could just about, it would almost mask the taste of a whole day's worth of funk or whatever I stepped in.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway.
That's awesome.
Mask the whole day's worth of funk.
Made him grin like a possum.
It's a good story.
It didn't take much to make him grin like a possum in school, apparently.
It's a good story.
So just to clarify what's going on.
Yeah.
He gets some gummy trolls.
Right.
Now,
delicious treat, by the way.
And somehow one gets stuck to his foot during lunch.
Yeah.
And so the next day during lunch is
I
when
think
he realized
throughout the day, he probably put on a shoe with no gummy trolls on there at home, walks throughout school, maybe second, possibly third period. A gummy troll comes around back to his foot. And he goes, do the old trick, I would imagine, during lunch that day, brings his foot up on his knee and going to swipe the old gummy troll under the sole, but he sees one is already there.
Oh, hark, a treat.
One's been festering all day, and he's like, oh, man, this will get the girl. And he said it himself. I forgot he said that, to impress the girls. You see, I don't know if it ever worked for us, but it was fun to try to gross out / impress the girls.
I wonder if that worked for him.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, he's eating gummy trolls off of his shoe. Got to kiss that mouth. I don't know if that's how that worked out. You never did that? Try to gross people out and stuff?
Well, to be honest,
yeah,
I would do stuff like that at lunch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But it wasn't I did it for money.
Mm-hmm. You're smart about it.
Anybody.
Yeah.
I got paid to do it.
Oh, wow.
So, and it was stuff like, hey, if we put this pizza in your milk, will you drink it? Mm-hmm. Will you give me $5? Yeah.
All right.
I think I've told the story before. The most money I ever made, I probably shouldn't have done because it was milk. But do you remember the old-fashioned typewriters that actually had the correction fluid inside?
Oh, yeah.
So when you would backspace, it would, erase the words. Mm-hmm. Well, somebody had a bottle of that correction fluid. And they're like, I bet if I put this in your milk, you won't drink it. How much money are you going to get up? Get up there like $15, $20, $25.
Wow. That could have killed you, right?
Could have, possibly.
Wow.
I'm sure I killed some brain cells. But I made some money. I love it. I remember at the time, though, my theorizing was if you are poisoned, they tell you to drink milk to counteract the poison. So in my head, well, if it's poisonous, it's going in milk. How bad could it be? I lived.
How did it taste?
Terrible.
Really? Yeah.
It was terrible.
Wow.
It was actually very sweet, though.
Really?
I mean, it was terrible, but it had a sweet taste to it.
Yeah.
That's probably the poison.
Yeah. What kind of milk? Just normal white?
White.
Wow. Not even chocolate.
Yeah. Vitamin C, vitamin D. Packed.
Strawberry, vanilla. You're not a chocolate milk kind of guy?
I would get chocolate milk every now and then.
Yeah, every day. That was my jam.
I remember one day, because you. Sometimes I would get 2 cartons. Imagine that. I would get more food than you were supposed to.
Well, I told you I used to get 2 ice creams. My mom would give me double money, one before my lunch and one afterwards.
I would have sit down, eat an ice cream, eat lunch, and then eat ice cream.
Exactly. That's what I do every day.
Sometimes I would get 2 milks, and I remember in elementary school, like late elementary school, early junior high, maybe. The teachers would walk around sometimes as monitors in the cafeteria, especially with the younger kids, and you're supposed to shake your milk up before you drink it.
Yeah.
And I remember I had opened it, but didn't realize I'd opened it. I was like, "Oh, I got to shake this before I drink it." I went to shake it.
Oh wow!
And a teacher just happened to be walking behind me. So it was like,
Nice.
"Hey, I got to shake my."
Yeah, we always had those monitors too. Did you ever have to I think I've talked about that before. Raise your hand, and they would come open up your ketchup packets and things.
No.
Yeah, my was named.
Are you helpless?
Neck brace Becky. She always had a neck brace on. Her name was Becky. So raise your hand, and neck brace Becky comes over and opens up your ketchup packet.
Why?
I mean, look at these nubs. To this day, I can't open a proper ketchup packet. Imagine 6 years old.
You say that was part of her job, but you were the only one that had
No,
to
she'd always go around. You'd raise your hand. She'd come over. If someone's picking on you, you'd raise your hand, and neck brace Becky would come over. You had to open a ketchup packet, and neck brace Becky would help you with that. Any problem you had.
But you were the only one that had to take advantage of the ketchup packet option.
I'm not sure. It was elementary school. Like I said, to this day, I would probably do that. If I go somewhere, especially mustard packets, man. I'm good with ketchup and packets. Mustard packets, you have to have
They are tough.
a Swiss Army knife.
Why are they so tough?
I don't know.
It's
You have to
weird.
have a Swiss Army knife for that. Not cool.
Before we get off of the Josh subject,
Yeah.
you, I, Josh, were all part of a super elite task force
Man.
that went through the zombie apocalypse last week.
Pretty awesome, right?
Give us a little backstory on what the zombie apocalypse
It's
is.
a program called Zombie Apocalypse Live. It travels the country and goes to the state's biggest haunted attractions for about a 3 to 4 day span. And this past weekend, they were in the Nashville, Tennessee area. So we took advantage of that. Imagine an actual haunted house, a haunted attraction, where the zombies come after you specifically, and you are armed with military-grade training weapons that have some kickback to it and have some good hefty weight. And you have to survive the zombie apocalypse while shooting and terminating zombies on your route.
It was an interactive haunted house.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was like laser tag because
Yeah.
they have little sensors on.
Yeah, mixture of a video game and a haunted house. Yeah,
Yeah. This was a whole lot of fun.
it was, wasn't it?
And it was me and my wife, you and your wife, Josh and his wife.
Yeah.
And we went through this. Josh was the first person through.
Right.
Like we joked about putting all the girls in the back.
Yeah.
But
it
then
actually happened.
We actually did that. Because it just so happened it was Josh when we started.
Yeah.
Josh, myself, you, and then your wife was right behind you,
Yeah.
and then Josh's wife and then my wife.
Yeah.
So that's the way it kind of,
yeah. Boys and girls.
where we were joking because we knew they came, like
From
you and
both
I,
sides, yeah.
from research, knew that they would come from both sides.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, we should put the girls in the back. That would be hilarious. Like Josh was good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to warn you though.
Yeah.
That if you ever want to do this, Josh is the point person.
Uh-huh.
You're going to go through it really fast. He Leroy Jenkins that shit.
You did a good job. You're a good leader, though.
I mean,
Good job.
there were times like because I was like trying to take my time a little bit
Yeah.
and look around. And
Yeah.
my wife, well, eventually we started shaking up the group.
Yeah.
So eventually I was kind of like back in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And I remember going through this one room, and I could see that there was a room off to the left of where we were standing. It was like a bedroom or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got my gun, and I'm going to go over here because I'm thinking if I go in this room, something's going to jump out. And my wife is like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I want to see what's over here." Get back over here.
You got to check every part. It's like a video game.
I know. Like I wanted to take my time, but
every
with
corner.
Josh as the lead person, like it started. He's like, "Let's do this."
Leroy. Yeah. That's funny.
And he's like, mousing around with his gun. It was a lot of fun, though.
It was awesome.
He was good. He's a good point person.
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's going to take out every zombie and you're not going to shoot any of them.
Well, it's good though. That's what you want. In an actual zombie apocalypse, he's my number one guy.
I doubt he will be your number one guy in an actual zombie apocalypse. But yeah, how was your experience? What'd you think?
I enjoyed it a lot. It was more immersive, I guess. I love haunts and haunted houses, but the kind of the not so much draw to me there is that you can kind of get like a jump scare, and anyone in the world can be jump scared. There's no actual creativity to that. Whereas this did have some jump scares mixed in, but for the most part, it was just the eerie environment in general, and that's what made me appreciate it more. It wasn't so jump scary. It was more of like, wow, this is creepy in general. I'm just standing in this room and it's scary.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Because like you said, they take what is there as the haunted house, during Halloween, and then kind of build this story around it.
Yeah.
I'm not dissing our group, but I do know at one point your wife pushed me towards a zombie
Sounds about right.
when she was behind me. I'm not saying she did it on purpose.
She probably did.
I mean, it was close quarters. We were, we were all kind of in there together, and she could have been, going right, and I was going left, and we just bumped.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe she was pushing me into a zombie.
That's very possible. My favorite character of the night, though, was the scary guy just haunting the lines.
They got my wife at the beginning.
He was like just in general. We saw him in pretty much good lighting and not in a scary environment, and he was terrifying. That character he created was fantastic.
Can I tell you something that I may or may not get in trouble for telling you?
What's that?
That guy.
Yeah.
Which was what were we calling him?
Never-
Buddy. That's what my wife kept calling him.
Buddy. Okay, yeah.
And he started walking towards our line, and I kind of set my wife up a little bit.
Did you?
Because I was standing behind her.
Yeah.
And I would, if she hears this, she doesn't listen.
Nah, it's all good.
If I told this on the Friday show, she'd hear it. But being the Tuesday show, she's not going to
Oh,
hear
really?
it.
Okay.
As he's walking up, I purposely was behind her. I would look over at him,
Yeah.
and I'd make eye contact with him, and I'd look at her. And I'd look at him.
That's funny.
Look at her. And look at him, and look
Yeah.
at her. And so basically, I was trying to say, please.
Yeah.
And so he did.
He did, yeah. And it was impressive.
To this day, she's wondering why he went after her so much, and I totally set her up.
That and I think they're trained properly to smell blood.
Yeah.
They know, they can tell the ones that get scared easily.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to rag on my team because, in the zombie
You've already
apocalypse,
you've done it a few times.
in the zombie apocalypse, your team is who it is.
Yeah.
I think Brooke, Josh's wife, would shoot me.
You think so?
Yeah.
In the head, like to put you out of misery, or the leg to use you as bait for the other zombies?
As bait.
Okay.
And I also feel like we were a terrible team
Yeah, pretty much.
because everybody shot everything.
Yeah.
No matter what came out.
No preservation of
it got
ammunition.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, something jumped out, everybody was shooting it.
Yeah.
Could be a member of the military force that you're working for.
It's true, and that happened.
Could be just a random animal coming out of a doghouse.
Yeah.
Everything got shot.
Terrible Revolution X or Area 51 players. Every civilian is shot.
I believe some people even tried to shoot the guy at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Somebody on your side.
That was just
waving.
checking your wristbands at the end.
Yeah. It was awesome, though.
Did you guys have fun? Okay, it happens with every other group.
It was good, though.
I had fun with everybody.
Yeah,
That was-
I highly recommend it if it comes to your town. Zombie Apocalypse Live. Check out the website. It's there.
I wish it had been longer. Is my only real. I
Yeah.
have two complaints.
Yeah.
One, I wish it was longer, and two, my magazine kept falling out of my gun.
Oh, yeah. And I did read online beforehand that smaller groups are better. And they're even kind of questioning, you guys have 6 people. Do you want to go in as one group? Yeah, because, I mean, clearly like a 2-person group would be the best, I believe. Like a 2 or 3 tops.
And it would be really intense with 2 people,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, but a group of 6 is kind of, at that many, you can just hang in the middle and do nothing for the most part. Just there for the ride.
Yeah.
That's fine.
She definitely pushed me into the zombie.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
She would do that.
Well, there we go. Not helping her at the end of the world.
Yeah, yeah. We could add some audio to it if you want. I do have an audio file.
Do you really?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have it with me here right now, but I'll send it to you.
Oh, was there anything good on it?
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah.
Oh, I thought
It's just the sounds of the whole experience. It picked it all up.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a pretty sensitive mic, so even though we had you mic'd up. for
Yeah,
the
it was
record.
mic'd up.
The secret, we had you bugged.
But I remember, like, I didn't say a lot while we were in there.
Yeah, it's not about what just the experience and the whole sound of the whole thing.
Oh, and it turned out better?
Yeah, it's audible for sure. Yeah.
Oh, because
It's
once we
pretty
got
good.
done, I was like, I just don't think there's anything
Yeah,
good on
and especially like the one that scared your wife. You heard that whole thing.
there. Oh, really?
Yeah, he's clicking.
Oh.
Screams and she's yeah, it's good.
I forgot I was mic'd
Yeah,
during
you
that.
the whole time. Yeah, right after you peed, we turned your mic on.
Yeah. I was mic'd up, and I was like, I got to go pee.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, so we'll play some audio if you want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that next week.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I'm curious now because honestly, I forgot. I forgot I was mic'd up.
You were
during
mic'd
that.
up, yeah. I went home that night and listened to it right before I went to bed, and it was kind of scary.
To all of it?
A little bit, because it was only about a 19-minute file. That whole thing was less than 20 minutes.
From the time I got mic'd until the time we were done.
Yeah, it was like 18, 19 minutes, I believe.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
it
isn't that
felt
great?
like we were in line that long.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, it was not very. It wasn't long at all.
No.
But I enjoyed it, and I would go back with that group.
Yeah.
But I'm not standing in front of your wife. She's going to push me into a zombie.
That's awesome.
You want to do the SOB OTW?
Let's do it.
The way this works is you can message us. You can send us an email, ajp@adamandjp.com. You can find us on Facebook. We accept your messages through Facebook.
That's
We're
true.
that cool.
That's how this week's SOB OTW came to us.
And you can also find us on Twitter @AdamandJP. So this week's SOB OTW.
Yeah, we speak a lot bit via the ESO network and the ESO podcast. We don't speak too often, but we should speak more of the Flopcast, a show on there that covers all things geeky and 80s and retro and awesome stuff. If you haven't checked out the Flopcast by now, do yourself a favor and do just that.
We've kind of hung out briefly with Kevin from the Flopcast
Yeah.
the last 2 years at Dragon Con.
Yeah, good dude for sure. Never had the pleasure of meeting Cornflake just yet, but she was nice enough to give us a message on Facebook this past week. And the message goes as this. She says, "Hi, Adam and JP. It's Cornflake from the Flopcast. Just wanted to drop by and say I'm very much enjoying listening to episode 244 of your podcast. You had me at Hancock," with a smiley face, she says. "Also, that vanilla chocolate game with the ice cream flavors gives me the giggles." It's a good game.
We were playing that in line
It's true, we
at
were.
the zombie apocalypse.
She also says, I'm mildly
But not
curious about something. Hearing you talk about seeing movies you didn't like on the first viewing and then watching them again, what inspires you to rewatch a movie that you hated? This is not something I've ever thought to do, so I wonder what made you do it. Peace and cookies, Cornflake.
Well, what made you see Hancock the second time? Or was it Hancock?
No, I loved Hancock from the
you
get-go.
loved it from the
Like
get-go.
Fight Club and American
Yeah.
Psycho, even Donnie Darko, movies like that. I think I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to movies and media in general, and I see if something has a huge fan base to it, I'll give it more than one shot because I'm aware that sometimes the first viewing, your mind isn't in the right place. Things could be going on for you personally, and you should give everything at least 2 chances. Everything. And sometimes I'm glad. I mean, there are movies I've seen multiple times I don't like, but in a Donnie Darko instance, the first time I saw it, I didn't like it whatsoever, but now it's one of my favorites. So you need to go back and just give it one more shot, especially if it has a huge fan base, because there's a reason that fan base is in place in the first place.
I have found that generally speaking, if I don't like it the first viewing, I don't like it in multiple viewings.
Really?
But there is the rare occasion. But then it's not even a case of I don't like it. How about this? If I watch a movie and then at the end of it, I'm just like, I don't know how I feel, then I'll go back and watch it again.
Gotcha.
And that's how I was with Pulp Fiction. That's the one that jumps into my head. And I remember going to see Pulp Fiction the first time, and it just like at the end of it, I was like, "What did I just watch?" And so I would go to work, and I was working with a guy at the time that was English and philosophy major in college, and he loved it. And so we would just sit, and work. And I was working at a store. So it would be stocking the aisles, and he'd just go on and on about Pulp Fiction, Pulp Fiction, Pulp Fiction. I was like, yeah, I've seen it. And how about that part? Yeah, that was pretty good. How about that part? Yeah, that was pretty good. And so I watched it a second time, and it clicked for me during the second viewing. Even with that movie, though, to really appreciate it, I had to get older and then see it a few more times.
It's all about processing. Like I said with Donnie Darko, you have to watch that at least 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 times. Every time I watch it still, it's something new I didn't see and process the first time. So the deeper the movie, I think you need to take more in for that. Like Fight Club, that's a deep one. The first viewing, you don't catch things. You watch it the second time knowing the big twist at the end. It makes more sense of why things happen in certain ways. So I think some movies, the deep ones that have a big fan base, at least deserve a second viewing.
Yeah. And true, I'm of the ilk that not all movies are equal. And I mean, I know some people have that opinion. Like, all movies are equal. They're all just movies. I tend to look at movies based on their pedigree and caliber. So to me, a Batman v Superman, even though it's smartly made and it's great and it's something that I enjoy, it's comic book based, to me, that's still not the same caliber of, I don't know, like a Fight Club or a Whiplash or something like that. To me, though, like that movie just has a little more pedigree to it. So if it's one of those movies, and I think Pulp Fiction falls into that category, and I see it and I don't get it, then sometimes like, well, maybe I'm not smart enough to get it the first time. Maybe I do need to watch it a second time. And then sometimes, like in the instance of Pulp Fiction, it clicked for me. Now, Batman v Superman, to go back to the other end of the spectrum, I didn't enjoy the first time I saw it. We all went to see it together.
Right, yeah.
I didn't enjoy it. I watched it a second time, and even though, and again, I watched a different version of it because I watched the extended version, which does explain a little more. It's, to me, it still had all the same problems that I didn't enjoy the first go.
Yeah, I've watched some things multiple times and didn't grow on me, but sometimes it does.
What about Jurassic World?
I need to see that again. I saw it once,
once.
in the theater by myself in a weird place in my life.
Yeah. I've always thought, when our conversation when that came out a couple of years ago, I've always thought you should see Jurassic World.
I plan to. I have no ill will against it, but it's the only movie in my life I've seen by myself.
Really?
Yeah, the only time I've ever done that.
See, I used to go to movies by myself all the time.
It wasn't bad. It's just the only time that's ever happened. And so, like I said, for personal things, weird things were happening, and I was just kind of, I could have seen my favorite movie of all time at that point in time, and I would have not liked it. So I should give Jurassic World a second chance.
Yeah. I mean, just last year I went to see a movie by myself.
Yeah.
Deadpool.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I went to see Deadpool by myself. I don't mind it. I don't mind going to a restaurant and eating by myself either.
I'm not a movie talker, so it's not like a big deal. I'm missing someone beside me.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's actually the best way to see a movie.
Yeah.
There's no distractions.
Yeah.
If you go see a movie like by yourself, fifth week in its run, when no one's in there, best movie experience.
Which, by the way, Power Rangers is already out of theaters. I planned to do that with Power Rangers. Never happened.
Really?
Yeah, it's already gone.
I'm not surprised.
Was that less than a month in theaters?
Yeah, it didn't.
Jeez.
It fell pretty hard.
That's sad.
I guess that's the first big flop of 2017.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe.
Sad.
With a lot of expectations.
Same for Kong. I never saw Kong.
I didn't see Kong.
I meant to go do it.
I haven't seen Logan. We talked about that.
Yeah.
On our Patreon exclusive show.
That's true.
Available at patreon.com/podcastroll.
Only $5 a month.
But you can access the archives for $1.
That's true.
So there you go, Cornflake.
Yes.
That's what drives us sometimes to go see.
Good question, by the way. You read that?
That was a great question.
That's a very in-depth question. Thank you, Cornflake.
That makes Cornflake from the Flopcast this week's SOB OTW. You too could be the SOB OTW. Send us a message on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter, or email us.
AJP at adamandjp.com is the email for that. Just look around, Adam and JP podcast rule. You'll find us somewhere.
Well, we're going to do the This Week in New World Order news. It's probably, in my opinion, at least from what I'm going to bring to it, the weakest that we've done.
For sure, without a doubt.
Yeah, not a lot prepared for This Week in NWO news, but we, I'll just play this and then we'll get right into it. One of our favorite truthers.
Yeah.
He's not a flat earther, is he?
Not yet. Due time, though.
Is legendary Major League Baseball icon and huge juicer.
And not the Jack LaLanne type.
No. Jose Canseco.
Yeah.
And what we like to do is occasionally go through Jose Canseco's tweets and bring them to you because they're just entertaining.
Yeah, he's done all kinds of great stuff from Bigfoot searching to government conspiracies, all kinds of great things on his Twitter feed.
And I think the government's after him again, aren't they?
I think so.
There's something going down with him?
This time, I'm not sure where he lives, but NV Energy.
Nevada?
Is it Nevada, you think? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that makes... I never
out,
saw him as a Nevada guy.
Do you remember when we didn't know what he meant by SEC SOC?
SOBOTW?
SEC SOC benefits? Remember when he was talking about that? Social Security. Or I guess it was SOC SEC.
Ah, SOCSEC. Okay.
Yeah, social.
He always tries to break it down for Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
He likes to say too much. So I think that's probably Nevada.
That is Nevada because he talks about Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's right. So NV Energy Las Vegas is what Jose Canseco was going to say. NV Energy Las Vegas just turned off my power to my home after I paid the bill. And I just paid it again. They refused to turn it on until tomorrow. A few minutes after, he responds with, Chris from NV Energy said, and I quote, if someone was on life support, then we would consider coming out to turn their power back on. A few minutes later, Jose responds with, what is America coming to? An NV Energy total scumbaggery. These large corporations care nothing about the human condition, only the bottom line. And the last quote on this thing here, the last tweet says, Supervisor Chris from NV Energy quotes, if someone in the house was on life support, we would consider turning your power back on, but no guarantee. He says, no wonder people go postal when they are treated so inhumane like NV Energy treats its customers, not even if you're on life support.
Oh, the life that Jose Canseco lives.
If you go through his Twitter feed, he almost minute by minute does some play-by-play tweets on baseball games. To the point of, like, the game starts. It's like, oh, is it going to be a good hitter? Oh, that should have been a strike. Oh, I have to pee now. Oh, that's a foul ball. Oh, now I've got to poop.
So
I mean, seriously, it's like that.
He badmouths the umpires when they miss a strike or ball?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Pitch by pitch, he's breaking it down.
Just like you do, or just like one would do at home if they're watching the game.
Exactly.
But was it a strike?
Yeah. I'm sure it's different if you're in that semi-celebrity status. You have 500,000 people follow you, and you know every single thing you say will be seen by 500,000 people. I'm sure there's an allure to that, to not put every single thought online, to have that kind of ego stroke to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've got to poop. I'm going to tell 500,000 people.
Yeah.
And while you're
maybe he's just gross.
And while you're pooping, you're getting the actual, like, the likes or retweets from that. It's possible, right? That's keeping you entertained, because I'm sure Jose is a bathroom iPhone guy.
Oh, he's got to be. He just seems like it. He seems like the type. I don't want to, say anything disparaging, but yeah, he seems like it. He seems like a poop swiper.
Yeah.
I'm going to lie.
Probably a poop swiper.
You are going to see your first Major League Baseball game this year.
I am, yeah. Over the 4th of July weekend, I go to Milwaukee to camp for a bit, and I'm seeing the Milwaukee Brewers versus the Baltimore Orioles. It's exciting.
That should be a good game.
Yeah, I've never, out of all the pro events I've been to, I've never seen a pro baseball game.
So you're going to cheer for? You're going to cheer for the Brew Crew?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, Orioles, come on. What is this, Cal Ripken days? Come on.
I mean, they've been around.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty long franchise.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy it.
I'm excited.
You're going to love it.
I like live baseball in
It's gonna
general.
be fantastic.
Yeah.
I am loving that baseball season is back.
Yeah.
And I can
You're
watch,
a big baseball fan.
I do love watching baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is, as I've gotten older, I enjoy watching baseball for different reasons.
Yeah.
Now I'm finding just really enjoying just the whole science, and not to get boring here, but the whole science of the pitching in baseball, and the theories behind the pitchers that you use, and the pitches themselves, and how the pitchers are able to manipulate the ball just by moving their finger half an inch one way or the other.
Yeah.
That's great. Whether they're releasing the stretch or not, and that sort of thing. So I'm really, this season, for whatever reason, I've really gotten into watching the pitching of baseball. Because it's not just about hitting the ball.
Right, yeah.
There's a whole science behind it. And it's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's the greatest game around. It's so much better than football. And now, I'm telling you, there's so much more enjoyment watching baseball
I'll keep quiet on that.
than football.
I won't go down the sports talk, but there are
It's-
probably 4 sports I like more than baseball.
And one of them's soccer.
Yeah.
So it
Once
doesn't-
again, science of people
disqualifies your
people think you
opinion
kick a
anyway.
ball. It's it's like you being a fan of baseball. You know, it's deeper than that. It's not just kicking a ball.
Yeah. Not a better sport, though.
Oh, okay.
Hey, before we end This Week in NWO News, I guess I can do it here because it's kind of like a movie conspiracy.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we talked about, this has been years ago, so you may not. We talked about when Kevin Smith was on a show called Dinner for Five or Dinner for Six or something like that. Jon Favreau did it
Right.
for one of the cable stations. And it was Kevin Smith, J.J. Abrams, Mark Hamill, and
I forgot that those are the 3 I remember.
maybe it was 4.
Yeah.
It was Dinner for
Before, yeah.
And they got to talking about Star Wars, and J.J. Abrams was, giving some of what he would have liked to seen happen. This was years before he was ever involved in Star Wars. What he would like to see to have happened with the Luke Skywalker character, and then some of that we kind of saw happen when J.J. Abrams
Yeah.
was part of Star Wars with The Force Awakens. Well, this week, this clip is making its rounds on the internet. This goes back to 1983, when Return of the Jedi was just out in theaters, and Mark Hamill appeared on a show with Gene Siskel.
And hang on for this exclusive. Producer George Lucas has told Hamill to, yes, get ready for another role in the year 2000.
George has talked to me marginally about doing something at the turn of the century in the last trilogy, but it wouldn't be on the same plane of existence, if you know what I mean.
What it sounds like is that he offered you a job to play a father and Luke Jr. around the year 2000.
You're a very clever man, Mr. Siskel.
I feel like we're going through old Nostradamus. Histler in the year 2000 or whatever. So what do you think about that?
That's crazy.
Do you think that...
That was back in the George Lucas days, so all that is non-canon now at this point.
Well, I mean, it's not non-canon, but it's...
which never happened.
Right, it never happened.
Yeah.
But it did... do you think that... do you think they took any Lucas ideas at all for The Force Awakens?
I don't think so. I think it was a total rehash.
And B, do you think this helps the fan theory that... or completely kills the fan theory that Rey is Luke's daughter?
I think it has no merit to it. It's a different timeline, different story, I think.
That's very interesting, though.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because this was George Lucas times. We're in a different, brighter day now.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of like the Timothy Zahn thing. You know, once Disney got a hold of Lucasfilm and they kind of readjusted what was canon and wasn't canon, the Thrawn character was out as canon. Thrawn no longer exists in the Star Wars universe. Like 2 years later, they bring back Thrawn. You remember when we interviewed Timothy Zahn at DragonCon a couple years ago? That had just happened. That Thrawn had just been kicked out of canon. And we're like, do you think, that you would ever work on anything? Like maybe they might bring him back. And of course, he had to know at that time.
You think so? Because he has a new novel out now with Thrawn.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it just came out like 2 weeks ago. He had to know. And he was like, I don't know. I think he knew.
Yeah.
So the good idea is they will re-examine.
This could be a whole episode, but there's no way that she is Luke's daughter. So when her parents, we had that flashback of her being left on that planet on Jakku by her parents. She clearly is old enough to have memories of her parents, and she would know. Like she thought Luke Skywalker was a myth. She didn't know he even existed. So clearly, if she thought this guy was a myth and it's her dad, it doesn't add up to me. There's no way that could happen. So
you don't think she is part of the Skywalker?
If so, it's some kind of weird Mary Magdalene dogma thing where Anakin had some kind of mistress somewhere. You know what I mean? Something like that. They're going to far stretch. It's not Luke's kid. I know that. There's no way.
Yeah.
You remember the vision of her like crying for her parents when they left her back on Jakku? And when the first time she hears the term they're looking for Luke Skywalker, she thought he was a myth, a legend. Those don't add up.
You're also talking about a series of movies where there seemed to be romantic between Luke and Leia. And then they readjusted that.
Yeah, but this is the same. I think it was a different time. I don't know. If so, the storyline's broken somewhere.
Then who do you, I mean?
And that's just too, the first time we ever saw Rey, it's Luke's daughter before we saw the movie. Like it's A, too obvious, and B, doesn't make sense in the story. I hope they don't go that route.
Would you be disappointed if they did?
Yeah, because it's just a cop-out. Now, a Kenobi I can take. I'm all about that.
Like Kenobi sired some children late in life?
Yeah. Yeah. Or even
No, but the timeline wouldn't match up.
Why is that?
She's much too young.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's way too young to be Ben Kenobi's daughter.
Yeah. Granddaughter. It could be something like that.
Granddaughter, maybe.
Yeah, because a lot of times in trailers, even in the movie of Force Awakens, you hear Kenobi. Ewan McGregor was brought in to do voiceovers in Episode 7, I think for a reason.
And there's speculation that either at D23 this year or San Diego Comic-Con, the Obi-Wan standalone movie will be announced with Ewan McGregor.
I'm all about that.
With Desert Obi-Wan.
That should have happened before a Han Solo movie, I think. I think they're trying to keep the non-numbered installments not so Force-heavy, I've noticed. Mm-hmm. With Rogue One, now Han Solo. It's kind of weird. I guess they don't want to overdo the Force, but that's what the movie's about.
And then there's also rumor that it's possible the next standalone that will be announced is a bounty hunter movie that goes back to Josh Trank possibly doing a Boba Fett movie.
He still exists?
Apparently the Boba Fett movie is what they were discussing with him, and then that fell apart, obviously.
Yeah.
And so, but they could still, rather than doing a Boba Fett movie, do a bounty hunter movie that Boba Fett is part of, which could be interesting. I could find that.
It could be, yeah. I'm just a sucker for the Force, man. Give me the Force or nothing. Force or bust.
Do you watch any? Did you watch the Clone Wars cartoon?
No, not too much. I need to check
you watch
that out.
Rebels?
No, I don't watch those at all. I need to, though.
Apparently, Rebels is fantastic.
That's what I hear.
I haven't seen it.
That's what I hear.
As a matter of fact, there's a big push for one of the characters. I think she's from Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
One of the characters on there to be brought over into the movie universe.
Yeah. I should watch it because it's all canon now. It's part of the story. I mean, Darth Maul is alive and well, in those stories at least.
Yeah, and fans are really rallying behind the idea of making Rosario Dawson
Oh, really?
character in the movie.
Because even, Saw Gerrera, our favorite actor, was in that one. And then Rebels.
How do you feel about him being in the Black Panther movie?
That's terrible. Terrible.
It'll still be good.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, tell me about shower oranges.
Have you heard of a shower orange?
I have not.
Man, so it's such a big thing. There are even subreddits and just all kinds of community online about a shower orange. The idea is you get a nice cold orange. It could be room temp, but I've noticed it's better with a nice cold orange from the fridge. You take it in a nice hot shower, and you ravage it like an animal as you eat it. It's the most animalistic, barbaric thing you'll ever do. You can get it as messy as you want. There's no stickiness because you're in a shower. It's immediately rinsed off of you. It tastes better. It opens up your sinuses, and you feel like an animal. Just you're crazy. It's your animalistic instinct coming out. I recommend a cold orange in a hot shower.
You did this.
Oh, yeah. I'll do it again. It sounds stupid, feels stupid, but I promise you it's well worth it. It's the best taste. It's the fastest orange I've ever eaten, and it's the best one I've ever had.
Like peel and all.
With my nubs, I just animalize the thing. There's shreds everywhere in the shower. It smells great. You feel great. And like I said, you can just be an animal. You can have it from your cheek to your cheek, if you know what I'm saying, top to bottom. And you'll get it rinsed off because you're in a shower.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you question the amount of time that you spend on the internet?
No, not at all. It gives me, if I never spent time on the internet, I didn't need to. I would never know about a shower orange. And I'm so grateful that I found the shower orange.
It changed your life.
It was pretty awesome. I came out of the shower and I was like, that was an experience. I want to do it again. I mean, I put a full orange down, which, an orange with peeling and all takes a long time. It's a hard process. This was like 3 minutes tops.
Forget the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I want to hear audio of this.
I'm telling you, like to rip the top with your bare hands, naked in the rain, pretty much, simulated rain, like a waterfall mist, naked to rip off the top of an orange and bite into it like an apple.
All right, let me
awesome.
Let me pull you out of your fantasy.
Yeah.
You're naked in your shower.
Of course, as most people should be.
Eating an orange.
That part's a little bit different. But yeah, I have no regrets. No regrets.
Okay.
I'm like, man. Because I thought it was a stupid idea. I see people online talk about it, and
I think your gut instinct was right.
No, because it took me a while. I've known about this for about 2 to 3 months,
right?
And it took me a while to build up the nerve to do it, and I did. And man, oh man, try it.
No, I won't.
But let your inhibitions leave them back, like tear into it like a caveman would.
Why?
Because it lets out this primal instinct that you don't know you have.
Yeah, well, then why did you go take a kickboxing class?
Because cavemen didn't take kickboxing classes. They ate showers in the rain, or they ate oranges in the rain.
Other ways to,
kickboxing's not one of them.
Exercise your demons.
As a caveman, they used to eat fruit in the rain.
Or exercise your demons.
Yeah, whichever way. I highly recommend it. I laughed about it for 3 months. This is ridiculous. We bought them many times. This is my shower orange. Never happened. It would rot away. And finally, I did it. Right before bed, man, and I slept so good. I'm telling you, go do it.
No.
It's not life-changing, like I don't have a different aspect view of the world, but it was definitely enjoyable. 10 out of 10 would shower with the orange again, as I say.
As you say.
Yeah.
And you're the moderator of the subreddit,
No. I found it through some other means.
Well, I really don't have any other questions.
Do you have any oranges at all?
No.
Oh, I recommend
I
today.
have a banana.
Because we talked about that. Could you do other things in the bathroom? Could you have a dump apple? We questioned. Can you have a dump apple?
What do you mean?
Possibly have the apple while you're dumping. Would that be the same experience?
Are you asking for me? Because I think you pretty much know the answer.
Oh, I know the answer. Without a doubt. I'm sure you don't eat 2 hours. It's like swimming. You don't eat before or after 30 minutes of pooping.
That's true.
No, I promise you. Try this.
I can't tell you how uncomfortable I am that our guest. I didn't think when we bought this house. I didn't think it through. That the guest bathroom is right next to the kitchen in the layout of the house.
Like 15 feet away from it.
To me, it's right next to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's craziness.
I would want another corridor Perhaps another wing to the house.
I'm not going to break down what poop particles happen.
Hey, what's down this hall? Oh, that's the guest bathroom.
That's why you should do like me, and poop in the wild, in the nude. Because
So you're not using your bathroom anymore?
No, by your logic, that's why you don't like your toothbrushes out, or you don't like your phone there, because poop particles get on that. But in theory, if you have a shirt on, your shirt is covered in poop particles. And whenever you sneeze or cough, and your little mouth goes to your shoulder of your shirt, you're getting poop. You got a poop mustache right now.
How about you not mess with my head?
How do you feel about that?
I don't.
The clothes
I don't
you
feel
have,
good about it.
You're covered in poop particles.
Not covered in poop.
You're like
particles. I just took these out of the washer today.
You're like the Gamorrean shit demon from Dogma.
Adam, I am glad we have advanced as a society.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a need to connect with the caveman version of me.
Sometimes you bring it back to the basics. Like you could go and play World of Warcraft online for 30 hours straight, but you prefer to watch a nice stick and ball baseball game. Same idea. Take it back to the basics. Eat that orange in the shower. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm probably not going to try.
Give it a shot. Much like our friend Cornflake asked, if you don't like it the first time, try it again. Dig deeper.
And see, I feel like you're invested in this.
Yeah.
And you're invested in so long that there was no way you're not going to say you didn't like it.
I bashed it for a long time, and I was embarrassed to even try it. And I did. I'm like, oh, here we go. And when I was taking my clothes off, looking at the shower and the orange with the water running in front of it, like, what happened to my life? And I get in there, I'm like, here we go. I've got music on the background. I've taken the top off of the orange. And there's water, like the shower water's on it because you can't not have that happen. And I bite into it, and my eyes are opened up. For the first time, I see. The shower orange is the way to go. Just give it a try. If you're listening, give it a try. A nice cold orange in the fridge for at least 24 hours. Take it inside of a hot shower. And tell me that's not the best orange you've ever had in your entire life. Just saying.
Yeah, try it. Let us know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
I recommend it.
I bet Josh would do something like that.
Hopefully you would.
Josh, do this.
Yeah.
Let us know.
It's not a weird thing. It's awesome. If I ever have an orange, I'll never eat a non-shower orange again. I'll tell you that. If I have a choice and I see an orange in the house, we're going to the bathroom.
What if you get those candy orange slices?
Oh, no. Oh, no. So the first time I almost tried this was in Indianapolis at the Airbnb, but I thought, I don't want to experience this in someone else's bathroom.
With your wife's family?
Yeah.
Around?
Yeah, we all talked about it. We all bought each other a shower orange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, what a weird time.
No. We all talked about it. Like her mom knows about it. Her brother knows about it. We talked about the shower orange. Mm-hmm. They know the process. And I almost did it there. I even bought one. I didn't do it, though. I'm like, this kind of... I'm not eating from the surface of the shower, but it seems kind of dirty to eat in someone else's shower. God knows what happened in that shower. In mine, I'm fully aware what happens.
This is not the first time you've brought the show into your shower.
Is it not?
Nope.
What else?
There was something else that you did, maybe the first time you shaved your beard or something like that. You were standing in the shower.
Maybe so. Or the Vine with the suds and the Batman. Yeah.
The Vine.
Yeah, I remember the Vine videos.
Because I remember asking, because once you shot it and I watched it, I was like, wait a minute.
He's butt naked with his cell phone in the shower.
Are you naked on the other side of your phone? Yep.
Of course. I'm telling you, shower orange. Do it. Check out the subreddits. It'll make you believe.
Hey, send us the audio of your shower orange experience.
I was spreading the good word on Twitter that night. As soon as I went on Twitter, did a search of shower orange, and there were people questioning it. And one guy said his girlfriend made fun of him for wanting to try it. And I said,
rightfully so, I would say.
I said, just do your thing, man. It's well worth it. It changed my life.
Wow.
Best orange you'll ever have. I promise you.
This is great. Then the next thing you know, there's going to be some shower orange track at Dragon Con. It's 18 plus only panel.
Yeah. Hey, I was in your camp for a good 3 months. I was like, that's stupid. And the curiosity got me. I'm like, I'll pick one up. And it sat there. I've had 3 oranges rot because I didn't take them to the shower.
All right.
And on the 4th was the special one.
Over under, you do this more than 2 more times.
I want to a lot. I mean, I don't eat much fruit.
I'm taking the under.
I don't take much fruit. I don't eat much. That's the first
I don't
orange.
take much fruit in the shower.
That's the first orange I've had in at least 2 years.
Yeah.
But if I ever have an orange again, it will be in the shower.
Yeah. I'd say you never do this
Really?
again. There's a possibility you never do this again.
If I eat oranges, it will be in the shower.
And if you do this again, you won't do it more than 2 or 3 more times.
What? That isn't... Well, I mean, I don't eat oranges. That's an unfair unfair number.
Yeah.
Because I don't eat fruit.
No, because see, I think if this experience was so magical for you,
I'm not going to change my whole diet because of one experience.
You'd be doing it more.
I'm not going to change my diet because of one experience. I can't do that.
An orange isn't crushing.
I'm sure
one orange a week is not crushing any diet. As a matter of fact, it's probably good for you.
Do you know how much sugar's in an orange? Look that up.
There's a lot.
That would crush my diet, what I do.
But then eat a lot of nuts afterwards and you'll be fine.
That's all right.
Your pancreas is going to be in good shape, I promise.
It's quite all right.
Before we go, I have an update. Wow, we got to talk about the Dark Knight still.
Oh wow.
I've got an update to a couple of shows we've done in the last few weeks. All right, the first one we're going to go back to our favorite films of 1993.
Yeah.
You remember we talked about Jurassic Park?
Yes.
Announced this week in the sequel to Jurassic World, Jeff Goldblum will return as Dr. Ian Malcolm.
I know you're excited.
Who's not?
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
The main character should come back, but that's just me saying that. No big deal.
He was the main character.
Oh, he was the flair.
Obviously, he's the most liked character.
He's the animal of the Muppets.
You don't see Sam Neill coming back.
I know, but I mean,
you don't see a huge internet outcry for Sam Neill to return.
That is true. He was more entertaining. Goldblum was. No one's taking that away from him. But as far as main character, he's the Wolverine to the Cyclops.
Yeah, best character in the movie.
He's the Raphael to the Leonardo.
He's the Wolverine to the Cyclops.
Yeah.
I think you had that nailed. I agree with you on that. So Jeff Goldblum going to be in the Jurassic World sequel. And in our second update of the week, going back to our favorite films of 2000, I think is when we mentioned this.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't 2000. When did we talk about Unbreakable?
2000.
Was that it?
Yeah.
2000? Our favorite films of 2000. It was announced this week that they will be doing the sequel to Unbreakable 2. It is simply called Glass.
Yeah.
And it will feature not only Mr. Glass, but also, spoiler here.
Yeah.
Here's a spoiler.
It's coming soon.
I'm warning you, here's a spoiler. If you haven't seen this movie, stop now and jump ahead to the commercial.
But they don't know what movie it is, so it's still like an unknown spoiler.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to say what it is. So stop here, jump to the commercial, and then we'll get into the Dark Knight if you don't want to know this. Also, the James McAvoy character from Split will be in Glass. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a team up of Mr. Glass and what was his character's name?
I don't know, honestly.
But the bipolar.
The old Split.
Yep. Split and Unbreakable together.
Yeah.
So you have the Shyamalan universe.
Mm-hmm. But how is Mr. Glass just doing his own thing for 17 years while Bruce Willis is doing his?
No, he'd be in jail, right?
Yeah, or broken or something. Maybe killed.
I don't know. But Samuel L. Jackson's going to be in it.
Yeah.
James McAvoy is going to be in it, and Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be the Unbreakable Split team up.
Pretty exciting.
For the sequel.
Mm-hmm. Is Shyamalan back on top?
I think he's back.
You think so?
I think he's back.
He's back, baby.
I'm back, baby. Coming up, we revisit 2008's Dark Knight.
Next.
I'm Drew Leiter.
And I'm Cletus Jacobs.
We're here to tell you about our podcast, The Earth Station DCU. Join us every week as we discuss the DC Universe.
We talk everything DC, including comics, television, the cinematic universe, and so much more.
We look forward to bringing you some great reviews and discussions.
And don't forget,
read more comics.
Where do we begin? A year ago, these cops and lawyers wouldn't dare cross any of you. I mean, what happened?
This is Harvey Dent.
Rachel's told me everything about you.
I certainly hope not.
You're Alfred, right?
That's right, sir.
Any psychotic ex-boyfriends I should be aware of?
Oh, you have no idea.
And here we go.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
The Dark Knight. My favorite of the Nolan Batman trilogy.
Yeah, I think most people would and should say that. It's funny because if this came out in 2017, or even 2012, that scene you talked about would have been a post-credit scene for sure, but that's not a thing at 2008, not yet specifically.
No, it's just part of the movie.
Yeah, it's weird, huh?
It's not like 5 post-credit scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But
people make fun of that, but if there were 10, I would want 10 of those. I love post-credit
totally
scenes.
agree with you.
I'm a sucker for those.
I totally agree with you.
Give me 10.
I mean, sometimes I find myself going on YouTube and just looking at the collage of post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
So we go to the theater. We see Heath Ledger bringing this comic and I think it's fair to say TV and cinematic icon back to life with his interpretation of the Joker. So let's start there. Let's talk about Heath Ledger's version of the Joker. What do you like? Is there anything you dislike about this?
Love it. I still think to this day one of the best, I mean, not just comic book movie, but one of the best performances on film of all time. Really, I'll stand by it. It's insane. The fact that when you watch him in an interview, like an attractive 20-something guy from Australia turns into that and makes it so believable, it's just impressive.
And he won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
As he should, yeah.
The only superhero movie to win an actor award at the Oscars.
We have a lot of friends and people I know in general and online that kind of, it's probably I'd say a 75-20 split. 75% of people love his portrayal, and 25% can't stand it and think of it as a bastardization of the Joker character. But you can't deny, I'd say he drew the line in the sand. Up until this point, be it conventions or any kind of art drawing, you never really saw too much impression from like a Jack Nicholson Joker or a Cesar Romero. You always saw like a comic book Joker. But to this day, if you see an interpretation of that, or even in sometimes at conventions like cosplay, you're mostly going to see to this day like a Heath Ledger Joker. And I think that's whenever he drew the line in the sand, he became like Joker 0.2 pretty much, 2.0.
He didn't do anything but make this character his own.
Yeah.
Everything he did as the Joker was his version of it. Now, I'm sure Christopher Nolan was very involved with this, but from the wardrobe to the whole idea of just having this kind of weapons thing with knives, to his, like we talked about, I don't know, what was the show we were doing? I guess maybe when we were talking about Batman Begins. His laugh, his demeanor, I mean, it was the Joker, but it wasn't the jokester Joker that we had kind of seen in previous incarnations.
Yeah, there were no palm buzzers this time around.
Just a magic trick with a pencil.
Yeah.
And in the vein of that kind of realistic Nolan Batman universe, I think that Joker's perfect. That's the perfect Joker for that universe.
And I'll never take anything away from this character or actor at all, but do you think, is there any kind of inkling that the power of his performance was magnified because of his recent death right before the release of the movie? I remember watching it and like the release night in theaters, like, wow, this guy just died a few months ago. It's kind of eerie to watch that this was, for the most part, his last on-screen performance, for the most part. Do you think that added to that? Or do you think that kind of is in the back of our heads? Or do you think someone could see this having no idea he died very soon before that and would still enjoy it just as much? I'm not sure, because my view was kind of altered with that.
Well, he had finished the movie.
Right, yeah.
But I think it's made for this kind of nice Hollywood mythology that you get, because I don't know how much of it is true. I don't know how much of it has been made up afterwards. And I don't know how much of it we would actually, a person could know, not being able to get inside another person's head. But apparently Heath Ledger really did his research on the Joker and really threw himself mentally into this role. And that's a pretty dark place to go.
Yeah.
And I got to think, I'm always of the mind that any actor who portrays a dark character, you can't just turn it off. It can't be, okay, scene's over, I'm back to being a happy person. I mean, there's got to be, just where you have to go mentally to pull that out of yourself, you can't just leave there at will. You've got to gradually leave. And I don't know how much of the Joker, I mean, I don't know, because we've all seen the tabloid stuff. I mean, the Joker haunted Heath Ledger. And I don't know how much of that is true, but I can appreciate the fact that he did so much research and was able to bring the character that I love as my favorite cinematic version of the Joker to the screen. But I do believe there had to be some sort of mental, weight that came along with being that character, especially if you're going to research it and go to the dark places mentally to find that character. Yeah, there's going to be some side effects from that.
And I mean, the fact that he was 28 years old when he did that role, that's insane as an actor, as far as acting chops. Imagine what he could have done 25 years from now.
But if you're gonna say he's a method actor, though, I don't think he was so method. I don't think he was as method as Suicide Squad Joker.
Oh, Jared Leto?
Jared Leto, who's sending weird gifts to his cast members.
Right.
I mean, there's stories of, Christian Bale talked about Heath Ledger, skateboarding around the set in between.
Yeah, there are pictures
sets.
of that, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's not like they would do a scene and then he would retreat to some back alley and just be the Joker until the next scene. But you're right. He was awfully young, and maybe getting that dark, that young, it had to have some sort of effect on him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it tied into him not being able to sleep, but I got to think there had to be some of that there.
Yeah.
Criminals in this town used to believe in things. Honor. Respect. Look at you. What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Would you say that most people, I think us included, like The Dark Knight the best out of the Nolan trilogy because of his portrayal as the Joker? I mean, if the exact same script and the exact same cinematography, everything happened, but swap out the Scarecrow for Joker, would this movie be as strong? Or would you then like Batman Begins more?
If Joker had been in Batman Begins?
Yeah, and if Scarecrow's in Dark Knight.
Are we saying it's Heath Ledger Joker?
Yeah, exact same script, exact same everything, but swap out the actors and the characters for that.
Maybe.
Does that make Batman Begins a stronger movie than The Dark Knight?
Maybe.
Is it strictly off his performance?
His performance is a lot of that movie. And if you were going to reverse it, it might be that effect.
Because to this day, if I watch The Dark Knight, I won't lie. I skim and I fast forward through until I see the Joker parts.
Scenes.
Yeah, I don't watch the Batman scenes at all.
The opening scene of The Dark Knight is one of my favorite opening scenes of any movie. Just that whole domino effect bank heist at the beginning of The Dark Knight. Shot in IMAX. It's gorgeous on Blu-ray, which is weird because it's just the city. But it is gorgeous on Blu-ray, the way they shot that. And it was very reminiscent of Heat, the Michael Mann film Heat, from a few years earlier with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Val Kilmer and everybody else in Hollywood. I do say that's one of the reasons why I like that movie so much, is that opening sequence. And it's not really Joker-centric. It's setting up a Joker, team bank heist. But I do love that sequence in the movie. The story, though, it's an interesting story, and it's a really good crime story, but I don't think the story makes that movie. I think a couple of things that make The Dark Knight my favorite Batman movie of the Nolan trilogy. It is the Joker. It is Heath Ledger. It's also this idea of when push comes to shove, would Bruce Wayne reveal who he is to save others? And we see that he would. Ultimately, he would, reveal himself to the world if it meant saving a life. Also like the stuff with the Batman impersonators at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's a really cool sequence. So there's stuff outside of the Joker that I really like about this movie. The overall story, I think the weakest part of The Dark Knight is the end.
Think so?
I think the whole, even though it's an interesting, take on human choice and at what point do we value human life, the whole decision that the Joker makes the two fairies, the decision they have to make at the end.
Yeah.
That's really...
With Zeus.
With Zeus. That's kind of cool, but to me, that's the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah, and it's odd to me. I've always thought it's weird that by far one of the strongest villains in movie history shares it with another movie villain. Out of all that whole trilogy, you only have two villains in Dark Knight with Two-Face, of course. It's weird they have to share that in that installment, whereas later on with Bane has his own movie, or Scarecrow has his own movie, but I know it's only for about the last 15, 20 minutes tops, but he still shares that villain role with Two-Face. It's weird.
Well, Bane had Catwoman.
Yeah, well, but
Catwoman was in that movie.
Is she a villain? She's
No, she really wasn't.
That's what, she's kind
Even
of there.
Scarecrow had the crime family.
Yeah, Falcones, but they're not. villain.
Right.
It's just weird they made that him share with that.
Well, but not really. He doesn't really share it with him.
I mean, he becomes, at the end, he's threatening to kill people and kill Gordon's family, and he's a threat for a bit to Batman and his people.
That's really what that movie is the story of the downfall of Harvey Dent.
Yeah. Which is sad because that, to me, is an afterthought.
Yeah.
You kind of forget he's even in there. I feel bad for Aaron Eckhart for that role.
He's great in it, though.
Yeah.
Aaron Eckhart is great as Harvey Dent in Two-Face. And once again, it's a very, Christopher Nolan real telling of how Harvey Dent would become Two-Face. And how, so driven. And also what's kind of cool about that movie is to parallel Two-Face and Harvey Dent to Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah.
There certainly is a juxtaposition of those two characters that is interesting to see in that movie. That, you think Harvey Dent is the White Knight, as he's called, whereas Batman is the Dark Knight. He's the White Knight. He can't, he can't be muddied. He has to stay clean. But ultimately, for justice, he will go where Batman won't go for justice. So really, that makes Batman kind of the White Knight, and he is kind of the Dark Knight.
True, yeah.
And I've always thought that about that movie, that even though it's called The Dark Knight, and we always think of Batman as the Dark Knight, in the end, this is really the story of how Harvey Dent becomes the Dark Knight. Because for justice, he will murder. And for revenge, he will take a life. When driven by the same need for justice, Batman won't. Now, he'll throw a guy off a two-story.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I have with that whole aspect of Batman in these movies.
Yeah.
Is he will maim you, he will cripple you for life, but he won't kill you.
Yeah. No ultimate death.
So yeah, that's another thing I like about this movie is that kind of parallel of Batman and Harvey Dent. But you're right though. At the end, honestly, truthfully, Joker's story wraps up.
Yeah, he just left hanging.
And
literally,
then it's just Two-Face's movie at the end. And I think that's cool though that Bruce Wayne has a need in the Nolan universe to not be Batman. His need is so great that when we see this continue into the Dark Knight Rises, he's still perpetrating the lie that Harvey Dent, is not Two-Face.
Yeah.
He perpetrates that lie.
Right.
Up and through the Dark Knight Rises.
Mhm.
Until Bane reads poetry outside of a prison.
I'd say you don't like Dark Knight Rises so much, do you? We'll talk about that soon in a few weeks.
I do. Compared to the Dark Knight, I certainly find some flaws with it.
Yeah.
But I do like the Dark Knight Rises. It is a good movie.
Yeah, it's my second favorite.
Yeah.
I think Bane, I don't like the character Bane at all, but his performance was awesome.
Tom Hardy is really good in that
Yeah.
movie. And I guess it was a love letter, not poetry.
Oh, yeah.
It was Jim Gordon's letter.
Same idea.
To his son, right?
Yeah.
Other thoughts about The Dark Knight, why it worked so well. To go back to Heath Ledger, not only is his character, not only is it a good movie character, but it's that rare movie character where you're not really cheering for him. You're not cheering for him to blow up two ferries full of people, but you cannot take your eyes off him as the Joker. It's just, for lack of a better word, fun.
Yeah.
It is so fun to watch him as the Joker in that movie. Whereas Jack Nicholson as the Joker in 89's Batman, it's entertaining, but it just doesn't, I don't know, he's just chewing scenery, and he's overplaying the character.
I wouldn't be actually afraid of him. I just wouldn't. If I saw him come up to me, I'd be like, whatever.
I think you would be.
But this guy, this
he comes
Joker.
up with his Smilex gas.
Maybe. But more so than for Heath Ledger's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think Christopher Nolan really did a nice job of doing. And that is, sometimes with the Joker in these Batman stories, there's always a wacky scheme that he's doing that Batman's got to foil. Actually, with all these villains, all the rogues gallery of Batman. And he does do the comic book schemes in these movies, but they're done in such a way they don't seem silly.
Yeah.
Even when it comes down to it, the Scarecrow, and I think we talked about this in Batman Begins, the Scarecrow's trying to poison with his fear toxin the people of Gotham.
That is a 68 Batman kind of story.
But
66, yeah.
It's done in such a way that you don't really look at it like that. It seems more like a terrorist plot. This whole idea in The Dark Knight, what is the Joker's mission in The Dark Knight?
Yeah, there's just chaos.
It's just chaos. He is chaos embodied. It just runs rampant in this. Now, ultimately, he has the idea of proving once and for all that everyone is kind of like him on some level. And he's going to do that with his fairy plot at the end.
Yeah. The whole speech he has in the hospital with Harvey Dent when he's dressed like the nurse. It's pretty good.
Which is the high point of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that's the high point.
Yeah.
That's definitely his high point, is that whole scene in the hospital, the whole hospital scene. And, the part where he kidnaps the Batman imposter and he's interrogating him, that is creepy.
Yeah.
That's another thing about this Joker that I like, is that he was actually able to capture the creepy aspect of the Joker. And Jared Leto wasn't, and I think Jared Leto's probably pretty creepy to know in real life. He really didn't even do that in Suicide Squad, or at least what we saw of him in the Suicide Squad.
Like this Joker in Dark Knight would never in his life have a Harley Quinn, I don't think, with him at all. I can't imagine it whatsoever.
He could.
Me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. He turns to me and he says, "Why so serious?" He comes at me with the knife. "Why so serious?" He sticks the blade in my mouth. "Let's put a smile on that face." And why so serious?
Any other moments in this movie besides the Heath Ledger stuff?
Every single Joker moment, every single Heath Ledger moment. Like I said, if I watch the movie to this day, it's fantastic. I love it. I give it an A+, but I always skim until I see the Joker on screen. He saves it that much.
Yeah.
One of the best performances, I think, ever in movies. I'll say it.
Where does this stack up in this Batman movie? Where do you think it stacks up in comparison to other Batman movies over time? Because I know, you've got some favorites.
Yeah, I think, this is the best one. I'll say it's the best of all. I think so. I think maybe the best we ever have. I can't imagine, especially the villain role, being topped. Because, as even in the comics or video games or movies or cartoons, especially in Batman's story, the Rogues Gallery is what saves the story. And this one was a very strong performance.
Not that we could ever know, but let's speculate for a second. What do you think we would have seen happen with this character had Heath Ledger not passed away?
I think that, I don't know. They have talks of in Dark Knight Rises, like the actual courtroom scene where Scarecrow is the judge himself. That was supposed to be Heath Ledger's Joker. So apparently not too much going on, but showing up here and there for that one other movie. I don't think too much more of a role, though.
I think there would have been, and I think that's maybe one of the problems with The Dark Knight Rises. It feels like there's something like the Matthew Modine character, for instance, like that whole B plot with him in The Dark Knight Rises. Maybe that was brought in later to just fill in the space of a Joker B plot. And there's maybe it wasn't a Catwoman B plot. Maybe it was a Joker B plot in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, it could have been.
And but I have heard that it was supposed to be. I can't imagine, though, as popular as he was,
just in there for
that he
20
would
seconds.
just been in one scene. Now, that could have been part of his story, was the trials that he would conduct in this post-apocalyptic Gotham. But yeah, I think there would have definitely been more of him in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I think it would have continued with it would have been a Joker Bane story.
Yeah.
Instead of a Joker Two-Face story.
That'd be awesome.
What do you think of that whole, the whole idea that his need to not be Batman anymore really starts to... It's so funny because in the Batman Begins, we see his need to be Batman. And then because of Rachel Dawes, not just because of Rachel Dawes, but she's a big part of it, we start to see his need to not be Batman in this movie, in The Dark Knight. What do you think of that?
It's good. It kind of follows the actual story of Bruce Wayne. We have to have that, almost retirement in a way to see the rise from the ashes later on, and be it the Return of the Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises. That story arc has to happen. So, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't like my Jedi running away. I don't like my superheroes retiring, but Bruce Wayne in almost every story from start to finish gives up the cloak for a while, but brings it back. It had to happen. Now, the way it is brought back in Dark Knight Rises is not my favorite. The fact he's almost a paraplegic, and all of a sudden now he's fine. That bothers me.
Oh, because of a like a brace.
We'll just say technology.
His magnet brace.
Yeah, exactly. From his iron blood. Yeah.
It's great. If I can't imagine if you're listening to the show, you've never seen The Dark Knight. But if you have never seen The Dark Knight, you're doing yourself an injustice.
Go do it.
Huge movie too.
Oh yeah.
This movie killed it in the summer of 2008. One of the most talked about movies of that year, and really kind of started building the foundation for. Well, I mean, the foundation was already there. I guess this was probably like the middle stories of the comic book culture, movie culture that we have today.
Yeah. A budget of $185 million, a box office of $1.05 billion.
Mm-hmm.
It drew over $1 billion in box
I saw
office.
it twice in the theaters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. It was good.
And I don't see a lot of movies twice in the theater.
No, you don't, do you?
The Dark Knight and Ghostbusters, Answer the Call.
You saw that twice, really?
I did see that twice.
That's funny.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
Because I saw it once with you.
I saw it twice, too, but I didn't know you saw it twice.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
And I don't see a lot of, like I said, I don't see a lot of movies twice.
Yeah.
Now, if I go see a movie 3 times.
Oh. Like Best Little Whorehouse in Texas?
That's in the Hall of Fame.
Rhinestone. all the Dolly classics.
What was the, what's the Demi Moore one we're always making fun of with Burt Reynolds?
Oh, Striptease. Yeah.
Hey, find out more about The Dark Knight at adamandjp.com.
Oh, yeah.
Not really, but you can find...
on wikipedia.org. That's what you can do it.
If you want to learn more about Batman,
visit
your local library.
Right, exactly.
I bet you could rent The Dark Knight at the library.
I'm sure you could. That's awesome.
Or find somebody that has it on Blu-ray that you know.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's like one of those $5 movies now, right? In the Walmart bin?
Pretty sure. Hey, you can check us out at Adam and JP on Twitter.
Facebook.com/AdamandJP. And, of course, AdamandJP.com. Don't forget Patreon.com/podcasserole. It's a fun place to be.
Podcasserole.
Oh.
I'm Jay Patrick. That's Adam.
Eat your podcasserole.
This has been a production of the Adam and JP family of on-demand talk radio.
AdamandJP.com.
Right now.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network, your station for all things geek, classic, current, and beyond. Be part of the crew at ESONetwork.com.